a lot going on social media. It's saturated, it moves really, really fast, and it can be overwhelming for some of us who still want to build an online business without having to deal with all that. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about how you actually still can make money online without using social media. A few weeks back, I talked to y'all about how I left social media many years ago at this point. I honestly want to say it's been 3 or 4 years. Something like that. I can't think of the exact timing that it's been, but it's been a minute since I've been on social media, and I've still been making money online and still building out my online business. But with the landscape of content creation changing and more people getting into this space and platforms changing up their requirements, the game has kind of changed. Things have changed in the creator space. And so we have to change our tactics and our strategies as we try to build out an online business without having to use social media. And so today I want to break down my perspective on that, what I plan to be doing going forward, and how you can do it too to build your online business. So the first thing that I want to talk about is being on search-based platforms. If you are not going to be on social media is an amazing visibility platform. These are platforms that are going to put you consistently in front of new people. If you are doing the content right, and they're pushing out your content. Let me say that. These are great visibility platforms, right? And you need that visibility in order to build your content. However, if you choose not to be on a platform that pushes for that visibility, then you need to be somewhere that's going to push your content for other reasons, because it's a search-based platform. Now, these are platforms that people go on specifically to search on. Now, I want to speak on this. Here's a caveat here. I am noticing and seeing and learning that Google is starting to index and show a lot more TikTok on Google when it comes to you searching something. So TikTok is going to be the exception here that I'm going to talk about. Now, we are not doing social media in this video. I'm not going to be talking about doing social media, but I do want to mention that I recognize TikTok's new searchability that seems to be popping up on Google. So if you are wanting to do things that are going to benefit your business and you feel like the risk is worth the reward, so it's like, okay, I'll go deal with all the extra so that I can get that extra search, then TikTok would be the place to go, in my opinion. But aside from TikTok, the search-based platforms that I absolutely love is Google itself. That's where a lot of people go to search when they are searching online. YouTube being the husband, wife, sister, brother, whatever you want to consider it, of Google, and then also Pinterest. Those are the three that I absolutely love when it comes to building out a search-based platform. So when it comes to building your business on these search-based platforms, the reason why you want to do this is because people come to these platforms and they're looking for a thing. They're looking for a solution to a problem. They're looking for something. And what you want to do is provide them with a solution, right? You want to provide them with that. You want to allow your content to be the answer that they are looking for the thing that they're having a problem with. And this way, you can create videos that are search-based. How-to content does really well when it comes to search-based. Tutorials, anything that answers a question that someone may be typing into that search engine. And so when you're talking about making money online without using social media, this is going to be the first method I would suggest for you to use, because in an option, and since you don't have that visibility of social media, the search is going to give you that visibility like the social media would give you, because people are going to come to the platform and they're going to be searching with intention. And if you are creating your content with intention, they will be able to find you. So Again, in lieu of you getting that visibility traffic from social, the search traffic will become your visibility engine. And so you're going to want to think about what it is that you offer in your business. What type of solutions do you have? How do you help people? You want to be creating content that's directly in alignment with how you help people. And so using these search-based platforms become very, very beneficial because they begin to put you in front of your audience. For the last few years, I've been building out this quiet income business that has literally changed my life. And I created a quiet income blueprint that can help you do the same. I document my processes on how I create my content, how I repurpose it, how I create products, and how I just go step by step through building this business that has sustained me and my kids year over year and allowed me to build a six-figure business. So if you're interested in doing that for yourself, check out the link in my description and grab my quiet income blueprint. After you learn how to do content on search-based platforms, because I will say that it's very, very different than doing content on social media. Whereas social media, you're thinking about people's attention spans, you're trying to hook them quick, you're trying to provide, constant movement in those videos so people don't click off really quickly. It needs to be a little bit more entertainment focused, in my opinion. You do content very differently when you're doing it for either of these. After you figure out how to do that search-based content, though, the next thing you got to be thinking about in 2026, now that the game is changing, so many more people are on these platforms, you have to be thinking about AI search as well. So the search-based platforms that I'm talking about, they provide the user with videos, content that's responding to something they ask. But you also got to be thinking about AI. A lot of people are going directly to ChatGPT, Claude, or whatever their AI of choice is, and they're asking direct questions about things. You want to ensure that you are coming up in that AI search as well. So in order for you to do this, you got to make sure that your content is optimized to be read by AI. And you do this by over time continuing to show up in the same way, in the same manner, answering the same promise that your business is trying to satisfy for other people, so that AI begins to see you as an authority in that space. I have a video, right? I will link it. I don't usually do this, but I will link a video where I talk a little bit more in depth on how to get found with AI in your business, because there's a little bit of technicality to it, but overall, you want to continue to just show up in the online space consistently, right? You want people to know what it is that you do and what it is that you stand for. Another great way to help with that too is to collab with other people. Go on people's YouTube channels and podcasts and blogs and their platforms as well, talking about what you do. You want to get people to co-sign you. I will say that here, but I do talk about it a little bit more in the video that I'm going to link here. So check that out if you're interested in this topic. But you want to not only be focusing on search-based platform and SEO, what we call that, search engine optimization, you're now going to be focused on AI optimization as well, so that AI recognizes you for who you are and what you do, and they can suggest you when people are looking for a particular thing. So say, for instance, you do extraordinary cakes, right? So birthday cakes, bachelor parties, weddings, all this kind of stuff. And you're a baker and you do cakes, right? And you live in, let's say, the Sacramento area. You want AI to recommend you in your bakery when it comes time for people to be looking for specialty cakes for their occasion, and they live in Sacramento, California. You know what I'm saying? So you want to put it out there, who you are and what you do, so that AI begins to recognize you. And there are tactics on how you could do that as well. So as we're building now these quiet income businesses, in 2026, we gotta have AI at the forefront of our mind. We can't get around it. It's a thing. A lot of people are using it. Some people never go outside of the AI for that answer that they're looking for. They ask it right inside of the AI platform. Whatever the AI platform gives them, they go click out to that. That's it. They don't go to a search-based platform to ask for the answer. They don't then go to Google and ask the same question. No, they don't do that. And so we have to be prepared for that. Now, I will say this. They could go to AI, ask a question, AI give it a YouTube video as an answer, and then they go out to watch that YouTube video. And as they're watching that YouTube video, what are there going to be? There are going to be suggestions underneath that video, alongside that video that they're now going to see. And so if you are doing content for your business and in your space that is alongside that person that got the AI search right, then you still could show up and be found on that search-based platform as well. So this is why I feel like you need to be optimizing your content for both and showing up in a manner to where both of them can feed each other, right? So search-based content, AI-based content, we got to be focusing on those in 2026 if we want to do this thing and do this thing right. Secondly, third, we want to be focusing on hyper consistency. Okay? Because what we do oftentimes does not move as fast as social media. You gotta be hyper consistent. This is something that I got wrong for the longest time, and I am correcting that. It's important to be hyper consistent because, like I said, sometimes it could take days or weeks or even months for this search-based content to rank on the platforms that you're trying to get it to rank on. And while you're waiting days and weeks, people on social media, they're moving a lot quicker and faster, and they're putting content out at a higher rate than you are, and those algorithms are working much more differently. And so things are moving faster. That doesn't mean better, but when you are doing search-based content and when you're building a quiet business that you're not trying to be flying all over the place like that, you need to lock in and be as consistent as possible when it comes to this type of content, because what you eat today in your business when you're building quietly is going to be from your efforts from 90 to 60 to 30 days ago, right? So if you were not creating content 90, 60, 30 days ago, or you were not showing up consistently, then what you're eating today is going to be stale, minimal, or non-existent. Okay, so being hyper consistent is going to be of the utmost importance now in 2026. Now that there's more people out here doing this, there's so much more content. And so there's so many options for these search engines to be sending people to and these AI engines to be sending people to. You want to be consistent so that you can still show up and establish yourself as an authority. Now, when I say hyper consistent, this just means setting your mind on a cadence that's going to work for you in your business. Now, that may be once a week, that may be twice a week, that may be 3 times a week, right? I'm not saying 3 times a week is ideal, especially if you're calling this a quiet income business. 3 times a week might be a bit much, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. But let's say you're talking about a platform like YouTube and you decide, you know what? Once a week minimum. That's what I'm going to be doing. Once a week minimum. We're not breaking it. And so that means we got to put systems in place that allow for us to be hyper consistent. If that means sitting down to batch record your 4 videos for the month, that's what you have to do. If that means sitting down once a week to record your video for that week, that's what you need to do. But hyper consistency when you're building in this manner, I think is hands down probably one of the most important things. It's going to be one of the most important things in order to continue the movement in your business, continue the growth, continue the flow, continue the customers to coming in, right? So that you're honed in on your target goals, your financial goals, and you can meet them because you're consistently bringing people into the business. So hyper consistency. Now, after hyper consistency and we've locked in the schedule that we're going to be doing, the next thing that's going to be of utmost importance is trying to be in as many places as possible. Granted, they still fit within your cozy business that you are trying to do. And this may vary person to person, but some of the platforms that are just easy to use for this business type, I've been doing this for a very long time. YouTube, top of the list for that. Blogging, Pinterest, LinkedIn, actually. And now an ariser in this thing that a lot of people aren't talking about, Threads. Threads. I have some Threads results that have blown me away. But I can go into that at another time. But these are going to be the platforms that are going to be conducive to what we are doing. So after we're hyper consistent, we want to focus on being on as many of those as possible via content repurposing, right? And when I say content repurposing, I don't mean taking, your YouTube video and chopping that up and then going to put it over. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about taking the core thoughts, taking the core message, foundation of your main piece of content and spreading that out amongst other platforms. And with AI, this can be done very simply. So for me, for instance, my YouTube video is the foundation of my content, right? From that YouTube video, I can create multiple other pieces of content by allowing AI to help me to disperse that content on other platforms, asking it to, what was I talking about here? Let's break that down a little bit further, maybe into a blog post, right? And so you want to take the content that is really, really good, that really drives home what you do, who you're serving, and things like that. And you want to try to spread it out as far as possible when it comes to these other platforms. There are multiple ways you can do this. Maybe I can go into this deeper in another video, but you want to be on as many of these search-based platforms as you possibly can. I do not think that you need to be everywhere. That is how I started this business setup. I don't believe that you have to be everywhere. You just have to be in the most important places, and you have to be consistent on the places that you are on. I always tell people I think having a visibility platform and a authority platform is very, very important. Visibility is going to be something that's constantly bringing people in fast, and an authority platform is going to be able to showcase what you do, what you know, and how you do that thing. The search-based platforms are usually the authority platforms, and the visibility are usually those social media platforms. But like I said, you could use something like YouTube now even for your visibility, because you could just simply use shorts, because they're distributing those just like they're distributing reels and TikToks and things like that. You could use shorts for your visibility piece, long form for your authority piece, and have them both exist on one platform. So we need to try to be in as many places as possible with this. And then lastly, I want to talk about maintaining your own platform, building your own platform. All of you all know I'm a huge advocate for blogs, but today I want to talk specifically about email. You need to build an email list. You do not own this platform. You do not own the subscribers, the people that are following you, talking to you, any of that. those are not your customers because they're on this platform, and the platform owns those people, right? They're counted toward their users. You want to make them one of your customers, one of your users, one of your supporters by getting them onto your email list. Your email list is going to be the place where you can communicate them without disruption, without other videos popping up on the side or other people yapping at them. It's going to be a direct content to the person that has decided they want to opt in to support you. An email list is oh so important, and I have not fully used the ability of my email list, and I have thousands of people on there, but that is changing this year right now ASAP. But I do know whenever I do use it, I get great results from it. And so I am leaning a lot more into my email list in the coming months. I know the power of them. I've gotten great results from them. I just don't use it as enough. I need to use that hyper consistency with my email. So if you do nothing else outside of doing your content on these platforms, build an email list. So if something happens and your platform no longer exists, you can email them and say, hey guys, this is what happened. This is where I am. An email list is important. It's literally the foundation of your business outside of these platforms. Those platforms are rented space. It is the marketing of your business. The email list is the core of your business. And so this is how we are showing up this year, building out quiet income businesses, still making money online without having to use social media. We still can do this. We just have to do it in a different way. I don't think you got to run yourself raggedy or do things that are not innately your personality, don't fit who you are, don't fit into how you just want to build in this online space. You can do it in your way. You can do it quietly. You can do it without having to do the most. And this is my framework for exactly how I have built out my online business and how going forward I'm going to be building it out. And if you want a step-by-step where I'm really showcasing you exactly how I do this, how to put the repurposing in place, how to do the videos, all that good stuff, click on the link in my description and grab my quiet income blueprint. I'm going to walk you step by step on how to do all of this, how to put it together, how to make it your own, and how to really get results from this way of doing your business.